Hello, everybody. This is Football Psych, and I am Coach Man Mike.
Hey, Lord Sarge!
All right, and welcome to Football Psych. Tonight's episode is, hey, did we win, but was it really a loss? And we're going to talk about that in particular because I have my particular views on this, and I will tell you that this team consistently doesn't seem to do anything to actually help themselves. And so we'll get into that a little bit more. So what did you think of the game there, Lord Sarge?
Well, we won! We won a game!
Yeah, we did. We won a game.
But we don't win when we wanna, and we win when we don't wanna.
So yeah, let's
Winning
talk
only
about
hurts us now.
Yeah, so like coaches will always tell players, right? You play the game to win.
Always.
Right? You always play the game to win. But you have to ask yourself at a certain time, like when you've been eliminated, what is your objective?
Mhm.
What are you trying to do as an organization? Are you trying to move your organization forward? I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's a very, very important thing to say, right? Like when you say, like you've been eliminated, as an organization should change your thought process.
Yeah.
Like to me, the games, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like and for fans out there that if you're watching, correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments section, right? But I think when you've been eliminated from the playoffs, you are now working towards next year.
Yep.
Right? So every game that you play, because yeah, you play the game to win and you playing from here on out. Like you have to play all your scheduled games, right? You don't quit, right? Like you got to play all your games. You're a professional, right? You play the rest of the games that are in the season, right? Like that's not even a thing, right? Where you don't do that, right? But here's the part. To me, in my thought process, those are preseason games to next year. You're evaluating talent. And here's the other kicker that I kind of throw out there. Who's on contract for next year and who's not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because here's what I'm thinking. Like, if you are not on contract for next year, why am I playing you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the season is over. So, like, I care more about at this particular point about who I have on contract for next year. And what am I doing to develop them? Because this is the off season, right? So, like, what am I doing to like those that I have on 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years remaining on their contract to develop them? Because now I'm in preseason mode. I am doing everything to develop this team for next year now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Do you think, here's my question to you, Lars Sarge, do you think this team has done that mental switch to like, this season's over, we need to be focused on next year?
I think in the head shed, after the game and coming to the end of the game, those conversations have been had. But on the field, you can't go out and tell your players to throw a game. And Las Vegas actually had the Giants winning this game. So you can't be a leader and tell your people not to win, right? Go out and play. But in the same token, up in the head shed, the owner's box, are going like, can we just find a way to lose on this one? Because, God, that would really help us in the draft. And much to the point you and I were talking about, if they lose this game, we move. The more games we lose, the higher we go in the draft, which gives us a better chance to trade that pick for better other picks. So we won and we lost.
So yeah, there's a lot to that, right? So I kind of explain that to you again when we're over, right? So like when the season's over and you have to do that mental switch as an organization, like what is the purpose of what I'm doing right now,
Yep.
right? So like for you to not make the mental switch and you're still playing, like I'm not saying don't play to win. I'm just saying how are you playing to win and how do you define winning, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, defining winning would be like I've got this young guy who has 4 years remaining on his contract who barely gets playing time. This is the time to play him, and I want him to play to win.
Yeah.
But I'm going to increase his number of reps on the field.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, who's in the final year of his contract, who might retire after the season, unless he tells me he's coming back for sure next year, I need to start writing him off a little bit and making him more like a player coach.
Yeah.
Coach up the young blood, right?
Yeah.
But if I have a guy like Jordan McGee, and I'm saying this off the top of my head because I'm not looking at Jordan McGee's contract right now, but I imagine he still has a couple years remaining on his initial rookie deal. I want to increase his reps and have Bobby Wagner pointing him out things he's doing wrong on film, developing them, because as an organization, I've changed. Now I want Jordan McGee to compete to win, because if he's going all out, I can make an honest assessment of the talent I have in my locker room.
That's right. 100% correct.
Right? But what I'm not going to do is continue the way that I'm going and let Bobby Wagner get all those reps. If he's telling me, Coach, I'm going to retire this offseason, well, then I'm already thinking you're gone, because this season is over. I am preparing for next year. So I would want Jordan McGee and like Kay Madrano, those guys, to get more reps. And I want Bobby Wagner to take less. Like at Paula Fitz, she said you should always play the game to win. Or why play? Well, it depends on how you define winning, right? You play the game to win, but play with guys that are going to be here. That's what I'm saying. That's different, right? And but you do hurt yourself as an organization on a multiple of fronts, right? So like this team is 3-10 prior to this game. Now they're 4-10, right? Here's the counter argument to a win that is not a win. So here's what I'm trying to say. And you guys, I would love to hear your guys' comments. So please put them in the comments section.
Yeah, they're there.
If you are saying, right, like I'm going out with all my best players to always go out and win, you're actually hurting yourself as an organization. Here's why. A lot of these guys are not going to be around next year.
Yep.
Whether you get 5 wins or 6 wins does not matter at this point. It means nothing to your organization. It actually hurts you.
Yeah.
Right? Because here's what happened this past week by beating the New York Giants. And I'm not saying throw a game. That's not what I'm saying, folks. I'm saying you go after a win with the people who are going to be here, but you treat it like a preseason game. Like a preseason game, you don't care if you win or lose it, because those games don't matter.
You're saying bring out your second, third, and fourth string guys and start those guys and try to play to win so you can evaluate them.
So I can evaluate them at full speed against number 1 talent. And here's the other thing. I want them to go out and winning because I want them to see what I'm doing. I want a winning culture. But, like, I'm not putting in guys necessarily at this point who are going to not be here next year.
Yeah.
Right?
Like we got Tunzel hurt, right? That wasn't good.
Yeah, like, why play Tunzel at this point? Like, Tunzel, I do believe we have him another year on his contract, but he's not a developmental player at this point in his career. You know what you got in him.
He's a Pro Bowler.
If anything, you let him start, he plays a quarter, and you start rotating him out. Like, again, you treat it like a preseason game. You play to win, but you're evaluating talent.
Yeah, you know what, Coach? I actually really like that strategy. That's a different way of thinking about it. It's like put your starters in, let them go for a quarter, and then start replacing them out. I got some comments for you, Coach, on comments here, okay?
Go ahead, let's go.
So, by the way, just so everyone knows, and Jeff confirmed it, Daniels is out for the season. They're not going to play him. They made the announcement today. Jeff also says they're not going to trade their first pick. I also agree. I think they're going to pick someone in the first round, like a bunch of idiots. I agree with you. Paula says you should always play to win, or otherwise why play? I agree, Paula. But I agree with Coach's way to do it. Play to win, but when you're at this point in the season and it doesn't help you any in the draft to start winning games now when there's no reason to, and actually hurts you, this is the time when you treat it like a preseason. Put your starters in, get them out for a quarter. They got their time on the field, and now put your second, third, and fourth string guys in and put them against first-round talent and get them out. Jack says, we lost. If we would have lost and would have been closer to the number 1 pick, if we would have got the number 1 pick, ended up trading back to get the 7th, 18th, etc. And then he also says some of these players are still playing to showcase themselves in case they want to go somewhere else. Yeah, I agree.
So all those comments are true. So let me give you the thought process, because I just want to make sure all the fans that are out there know I'm not suggesting throwing a game,
Right.
right? What I'm suggesting is that you compete at the highest level, but you don't really care if you win or not. It's kind of like a preseason game, because wins and losses at this point don't matter.
Oh no, they do.
No, wait a minute. Let me caveat it.
Oh,
They
okay.
do not matter as far as how this season turns out. Like, you're been eliminated from the playoffs. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It matters for jobs, but it does, and really it matters for jobs if your job's on the line,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't think Dan Quinn's job is on the line right now. I actually think he's safe because of his
Yeah.
relationship with Adam Peters. Now the coordinators are something else. I actually think both coordinators are done.
Yeah.
But I think Adam Peters has another year. So how does he get another year past next year?
I mean, Dan
He
Quinn.
needs to be building his team for next year. This year's a goner. You've lost this year. The real win and loss is whether or not you make it to the playoffs or not. You did not make it this year. Your season's over. So now every season, like, wins and losses now don't matter. They're like preseason games. So treat them as such. Treat them in the same kind of way. You put your starters in, you get them the reps that they need, you get them out, you're evaluating talent. But I also tell you, like, when you do win at this particular point, you only hurt yourself, to Jack's point, which was the point I was trying to make before.
Mm-hmm.
When we went into yesterday's game, we were ranked 6th in the NFL. So that means if the season would have ended before this past weekend, we would have had the 6th overall draft pick. If we would have lost, we would have been, I looked at it analytically, we would have been a top 3 pick. We would have been a
top
three-way
three?
tie. We would have been a 3-way tie for the number 1 pick. Top 3.
Oh man.
If we would have lost that game. But since we won it, we now hurt ourselves 3 more spots by going from number 6 to number 9. Right now, we're number 9. So, we really lost 6 spots by that win. So you got to ask yourself, did I help myself or did I hurt myself? Right? And then you have to ask yourself, you have to balance that, right? Based off of losing those 6 spots, what did I gain from my program? Did my program advance enough to justify losing 8 spots in the draft? Or 6 spots in the draft.
Well, it's also like we talked about offline, but it's also about what's the value of a top 3 pick versus the value of a number 9 first round pick. A ton in trade value if you're going to trade out, right? A top 3 pick is going to get you more trade capital than a 9th, 10th, or 11th, or 12th, or wherever we wind up.
That's true.
So it hurts for the organization for next year.
Yeah. So every subsequent pick is a significant drop in value.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is a huge drop from number 1 to number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 to number 3 is a huge drop. And then as you get closer and closer to outside the top 10, there's another significant drop.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that when you're like the number 1 pick or like the number 11 pick in the first round, it would take you significant draft capital to move from number 11 up to number 1.
Right.
Like, here's the kicker of it. If you hold the number 1 pick and you trade back to number 11, that type of value is so great that you're talking about multiple draft picks. And what is this?
What we need. This is what we need.
So you have to ask yourself as an organization, not that you're playing to win, right? Like, because you are playing to win,
Mm-hmm.
but what does a win mean? Now, if you're going into like what Paula is saying, players need to play to win to keep their jobs. Yes and no. And I'm going to explain that for a second, right? It depends on which player you're talking about. Are you talking about the 35-year-old Bobby Wagner?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to play to keep his job. At this particular point in his career, he's either making the decision himself, I want to come back another year, or no, I'm going to retire. It has nothing to do with his playing at this particular point because he's been amazing.
Yeah, he's established.
And he's established. and he's not developing. He's not going to get any better.
No,
The older he
as a
gets,
matter
he's
of fact,
going to
it's going to
decline.
get worse.
Yeah, he's going to decline, right? Yeah. So is Bobby Wagner playing for his job? I'd know, right? Now,
I guarantee if they talk to Wagner and they say, "Do you want to come back or not?" We'd love to have you back. They'd say yes.
Yeah, they would say yes, right?
So, yeah,
and they were like, "Okay, let's just work the numbers. What are we talking about? $8 million? Okay, whatever. We signed it. Boom, boom. Yep. You're coming back for another year, right? It's not like his track record suggests the way he's performing right now, he's got another year in him.
Yep, exactly.
And I agree. He's in that kind of stage where, a player at this particular point, they're year to year, right? You're not signing him to a multi-year deal. You're basically saying, I'll give you another year. You want another year? Yeah, we think you got another in you. We do another year.
Yep.
Right. But that's not like other players. Let's take another person like that we like. Let's take Treylon Burks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Treylon Burks is a developmental type of player, and he's on a 1-year contract that we signed him to. We want to really flesh Treylon Burks out because we should be asking ourselves, do we want to sign him to have him back next year? I think the answer is yes. But who do you want to play? Who do you want to develop? Now, do I want Treylon Burks to go out there and win? Yes, because here's the deal. If Treylon Burks goes out there and scores 4 touchdowns and I lose 6 spots in the draft, I'm like, it was worth it. That's a real receiver.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can justify the cost that I spent. But if Terry McLaurin caught those passes, I'm like, I think I might have hurt myself as an organization. There's a reason why this team has only won 4 games this year.
Yeah. And with the age of our team, the more we play these guys past the point of where we have no chance to make the playoffs, we're out. You run a very high cost, a very risk to reward ratio in terms of injury. You want to keep him healthy so you have him next year. Like we're locked in McLaurin. We don't want McLaurin playing 4 quarters. If he gets hurt, we're screwed. Our number one's out again, right?
Which is why I'm perfectly happy with us bubble wrapping Jayden Daniels. Do I think Jayden Daniels is really hurt? Not really. He's got a quad thing. Okay, whatever. Could he play if we were on a playoff run? Yes.
No, it's elbow with him. It's his elbow.
Oh, it's his elbow. Okay, who's the quad one? Was that
McLaurin?
I can't remember. Oh, that was McLaurin. Yeah. So anyway, so with Jayden Daniels though, with his elbow thing, when that god awful looking kind of torque he did when he fell on his elbow thing, kind of thing, twisted his arm all weird like that. But anyway, good thing it's not on his throwing arm. But like if we were in the playoff hunt right now, you don't think he would be playing? Of course he would be.
Yeah.
But we don't need him to. So at least they're being smart with him. I'm just saying, be that smart across the board.
I love what you're saying. You didn't tell me that before. I'm glad you. That makes, from a fan perspective, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, play your ass off to win, coach to win, but treat it like it's a preseason because your season's done. So the only thing you're doing by playing your starters is risking injuries, and maybe they could be permanent. Look at Patrick Mahomes out for the season, right?
Yeah.
And they, and they're out for the playoffs. So Patrick is done with a major meniscus tear. And there's money behind that, right? So there's risk, and get a really good look at Yankoff, at Ben, who had a good game, at Treylon Burks, at your depth in defense, and coach them to win, but you take it as it comes and you rest your start. I love that. I love that.
Right, because here's the deal. Like if I put my second string guys in, for instance, all guys that are on a multi-year contract, like these are guys that I fully intend on being on my team next year, and they go up against number ones and they win.
It says something.
It says something. Those reps are invaluable because they were going up against number one talent, and I can say that was a great win for my organization. Their confidence level is off the chains. It also changes because I know a little bit about what I have in depth. It changes my strategy on how I'm building this team next year.
Yeah, it lends into it, right? It lends into it.
Right.
How do you draft?
But there's other players that are on this team that if you win with those players, it does nothing for your club. Like there's a
Right.
lot of these senior players, they're not going to be on this team
Right. So
next
why are
year.
you playing them? Yeah.
So
Why aren't
why
you
are you playing them at this point, and why are you trying to win with them? Like what are you gaining?
Mm-hmm.
Really, you're hurting the organization by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
that's my point because again, we now have the number ninth overall pick instead of the third overall pick by getting that win. And I'm just like, okay, that was a huge price. You got to look at draft capital as capital for your organization. Like
Yep.
to me, that's losing money. That's
Yep.
like saying, hey, I got into this game and I lost a lot of money on this
Well,
game.
not just money, but the talent that money could buy.
That's right.
You might have
And
got. We
so,
might get 3 less draft picks
and
because of
who
that one
least
move.
Yeah, that's right. It costs you probably so much, like you have no idea. Like, and then you have to ask yourself, well, that was a huge price to pay
Mm-hmm.
to gain what? How does that help my organization? Because, like, do you like does it make a difference when you're out of the playoffs whether or not you had a 4-win season or a 5-win season?
Not at all.
Does it make a difference to a football club if you have the number 3 overall pick compared to the number 9 overall pick?
Huge difference.
Huge. And oh, by the way, that's a three-way tie. That could be the number 1 overall pick
Jeez.
because you were basically in a three-way tie for the number 1 overall pick. So when I say number 3, that's because like I'm ranking you like better than the other two sorry teams,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we could have very easily have had the number 1 overall pick. And
Yeah.
if you trade that out, man, that sometimes worth an entire draft class to another team.
Yeah. So a couple comments. Jeff's comments, appending to what you're talking about, coaches. How old's Derrick Henry? Tennessee let him go because of his age, and look what he's done in Baltimore. We both agree, absolutely.
Okay.
But he's not Terry McLaurin age yet, or Bobby Wagner age, right?
Right.
He's still got a couple years on him, and it's like, then he goes, trade Terry. He sucks and he's expensive. Well, Jeff, you know we already talked about. We can't trade him. We're locked into Terry. We're locked into him because we made a stupid deal. So Terry is around. So I actually don't want him on the field. I want to look at Jalen Lane. I want to look at Treylon Burks. I don't want to see Terry on the. I'm glad he caught a touchdown. Get his old ass off the field and get him coaching these young guys up.
Right.
He also says play Bill more and develop him. I think we should be playing Edwards as well.
Correct. So very good point. So first of all, to answer Jeff's thing, and we have talked about it on the show quite a bit, right? The time to trade Terry McLaurin was last offseason when he was a holdout.
Yep.
And his stock value was high. But we chose to re-sign him. By the structuring of his contract, it would cost more to get rid of him at this particular point because of all the guaranteed money in his contract. Like this money that's guaranteed, right? It would be such a huge cap penalty. We are essentially, and I want to make sure this is clear, we are essentially married to Terry.
Yeah.
For 2 years.
We'd be pulling a Wilson like Seattle did. Get rid of him at any cost, right? And screw the organization over.
And we don't have the space to do that. Like we are trying to rebuild this team. Like we are married to Terry for 2 years. We can void out his 3rd year of his contract at a smaller cap hit to let him go, which could happen if he doesn't perform. Chances are Terry's going to perform if he can stay healthy. We'll see. He had a bad year this year.
Man, he looks every time he's been in a game, he's caught a touchdown. So I mean,
yeah,
he's got his flash.
But this is the reason why you don't sign 30-year-old players to contracts because they'll have splashes, but they can't freaking stay on the field, right?
Yeah.
So, like, we all know this, and Terry proved it again. That's the reason why we were calling for him to be traded in the offseason.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I don't like paying old players because Terry's been great, but you don't pay him on past performance. You always pay them on future performance.
Yep.
And all the future analysis says this is the time of his career where he will start breaking down and his production will drop.
Yeah.
His production is great when he's on the field, but you can't keep him on the field.
So Jeff's got another question for you, going back to that 3-way tiebreaker and what he wants to know from you coaches. What would be the tiebreaker in that scenario? what do you think would be the tiebreaker for us to move?
So the tiebreaker is a number of different things, and there's a formula for this that you can research. So first of all, if the teams play each other, the tiebreaker goes to the team that won the game in the tiebreaker.
Right.
Right. So you have to look at those teams, and the teams right now, I believe, is the New York Giants and the Tennessee Titans.
Raiders.
The Raiders are on up there too, but like it's either the Raiders or the Titans. I'd have to look at it, but we were in a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
So, and I know the Jets are up there. I know the Giants
have 3 wins. Yep.
So the Giants actually helped themselves a lot by losing to us.
Yes, they did.
And I actually think the Giants played it perfectly, right? They were getting their butts spanked. They were evaluating talent. They made a massive comeback, right? But they still lost the game. Yeah. Perfect scenario for the New York Giants. I think the New York Giants played it perfectly. I'm not saying that they lost on purpose. I'm just saying that what better way to have a very good showing, be able to evaluate talent the way that they did, still come away with a loss, and still be in a running for the number 1 overall pick.
And Jack's got a great point. You know, where are you picking the draft and how you finish your year will determine what your strength of schedule is the following year, right?
That's true. That's true as well.
So, and that matters. Look what we did. We got all the way almost to the dance last year, and our schedule got way tougher this year, right? And
that's true.
Right away, boom, you know?
Yeah, so that's a very valid
previous
point.
Year when Daniels was a rookie, our schedule was our strength of schedule. I mean, we're down low. We were taking out some easy targets. You know, that also helped get us to what happened there. It really did.
Yeah. So, that's another really good point, Jack. So, and I see Jeff's comments too that Henry's 31. Yeah, Henry's 31 for running back. That is old, but it's not 34.
Yeah, they signed him at 30, kind of like McLaurin, right?
Yeah, but that's
and here in Baltimore. So,
but you know, you can always pick anomalies, right? You can always pick like an example and point to somebody where it worked. But I always work on the laws of probability and the laws of average, right? So it is more probable that when you get over 30 years of age that you're going to decline. It is less probable that you're still going to be effective over 30.
Yeah. It's not even a matter of will you still be effective? Will you be effective at the same level? And it's even more very unlikely that you'll have a better year, right? It's either your best purpose is stay where you're at, but the probability says you're going to begin the decline slope.
Yeah. And so certain players like a Henry, like you still think they're doing great, but I haven't looked at his stats. Is he doing better than he was last year or 2 years ago?
He's not getting as many balls, no.
I would say his overall production is probably declining. He might still be great, but you're going to see some kind of decline there. There's other guys that's super noticeable, like they fall off of a cliff. Yeah. I'm telling you, like, I'm not saying that about Scary Terrier right now, but I will tell you his injuries, like if you look at his numbers are way, way down from last year.
Yeah.
Way down.
He's been off the field, though.
Yeah, he hasn't been on the field. But that's part of the calculus. Like, you get over 30, you're not going to stay healthy. Right? And my signing a guy to $30-some million per year for a part-time player, that's essentially what you're signing up for. I don't want a part-time player. I want a guy who can last 17 games of a regular season and make it 20 if you're 20 or 21 games if I'm trying to get all the way to a Super Bowl.
For sure. Yeah.
That's durability that Terry demonstrated after we signed him to this fat contract that he can't do.
Like immediately.
Like the ink was not even dry on the contract.
Like $20 million. Oh, quad injury. I'm out for 6 weeks.
As a matter of fact, he showed up.
Vegas, see you guys.
As a matter of fact, he showed up as a holdout, a hold in. We talked about the difference of that. He showed up as a hold in with an ankle injury, saying, "I'm injured. I can't even work out."
Unbelievable.
He was in street clothes. So when you have an old player who's injury stricken and misses a lot of football time, it typically, on the law of averages, does not get better for you.
Yeah.
He's going to be a year older next year, and who knows what we got in him.
Yep.
Right? And so
But at least
I
his
see
sorry
why
butt
they're
will
putting
show
him
up
back
to
on the
season
field.
in practice next year. At least
Well,
he won't hold out on us.
here's the other thing that you can. So I'm okay with him playing a little bit at this point because it's kind of like preseason. The preseason he never had.
Yeah.
And I want to get him a little bit geared up and focused back because he's missed so much football this year. Maybe I do want him in a few of these preseason games because let's call it for what it is. These are preseason games for next year.
Let's call them
We need to
postseason.
change our thought
Let's
process.
say postseason
Preseason.
games. Postseason.
So postseason sounds like playoffs, but like that's the reason why I say
yeah.
that's the reason why I say this is next year's preseason, right? These are preseason games for next year, right? So we need to change our thought process. This year is already behind us,
Yeah.
but these are valuable reps for people who are going to be on your football team next year. Terry McLaurin, I don't mind him having some of those reps because I want to have something I can take in the off season that I can work with Terry on.
Yeah, I love what you're saying about, give them a quarter, treat it like a preseason, give them a quarter, maybe a half, and get them out. And the rest of the time should be focused on your depth.
That's right.
And if you win, you win. And if you don't, you don't. You plan and you play to win. But if you don't win, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So
it actually is a big deal. But yeah.
So Jack says
post preseason. Thank you, Jack.
But doesn't post preseason by definition mean regular season?
Oh, come on, coach. He's gonna coach you to death here, Jack. He's not gonna be happy with anything. Coach is not gonna take it. He doesn't want to hear it.
We got everybody thinking though. I love it. So all
right, everyone out there, if you got a name for what we're talking about, if you can come up with a suggestion that coach can agree with, we'll figure out how to get you a hat or something.
There you go. We'll get you a football psych t-shirt.
We have to do a giveaway to get a. What do you call it when you're locked out of the playoffs? Your season is over for all intents and purposes, and you do what coach is saying, which is treat it like a preseason for the rest of the year.
Come up with that name.
What kind of name would you call that? What type of season would that be? What name would you give it?
What if we come up with that name and it goes viral and the NFL adopts it?
Oh, I would lose my cookies. I would be laughing, and then I'd file a copyright on it and take the NFL for a few $1 million.
Yeah, we need that for the show. So
all it says before the preseason. Before the preseason. How about Richard's on? Thanks for joining, Richard. How about stag valuation? That's pretty good. We're in this stag valuation season.
Oh my gosh,
that sounds like that could be a winner.
That could be a winner, man. That's pretty good. I like that one. That's pretty
stag
funny.
Valuation, but before the preseason is not bad either.
No, that's pretty good too. The preseason. So we start the previous season for the preseason.
Oh, Richard, that's funny. Oh my god.
But Richard, that's a good one. So anyway,
he's high because the Chargers have won their last 2 games. Unbelievably, the Chargers are finally putting a season together.
Well, they got Harbaugh there, the guy I wanted to get.
Yeah.
You remember I talked about that in the offseason. Like I was like, we need to go get this guy from Michigan.
It took him a year, but this year, look what they're doing, man.
Yeah. I mean,
looking dangerous.
Harbaugh knows how to build winning programs. He did it in San Francisco. He did it at Michigan. You knew he was going to do it when he came back to the Chargers.
Richard said, "Don't jinx it."
All right, fair enough, Richard. We'll get back on the Commanders talk. But I will tell you, you play the games to win, but the win has to mean something. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, what does it mean to win at this point? And how do you define winning? Like what I said, if to me, Terry McLaurin scoring 4 touchdowns to me at this point means nothing.
It doesn't mean anything, right? It's a step up for him, and it doesn't do the team a damn bit of good.
For me, taking a guy like, I don't know, Bobby Wagner, and Bobby Wagner goes out and makes another 15 tackles. Okay, great. Bobby Wagner, you're being Bobby Wagner. I mean, I don't even know.
It only helps Bobby Wagner. It doesn't help us.
And I don't know if it really helps Bobby Wagner. I mean, to me, at this particular point, Bobby, what do you want to do next year? Do you even want to play football next year?
Mm-hmm.
And if he says yes, you're like, okay, let's work a deal. Like, we're not going to not sign him if he wants to come back.
Of course not. No, he's got a value. Yeah.
He's got value, right? Like, he's one of the few pieces that work if you play him right. Keep him in the box.
Yeah.
Right. Don't put him back on coverage. We've talked about that.
No, it makes,
right.
Well, Coach, what you're saying is I know we talked a lot. That makes a lot more sense to me the way you're explaining it. That makes a hell of a lot more sense to me about how a team should approach the stag valuation before the preseason, post preseason scenario.
Yeah, but if I take a guy like Donovan Edwards, we talked about Donovan Edwards, and most people on here don't know who Donovan Edwards is, but I taught you about Donovan Edwards,
yes,
right? So
did.
Michigan running back who played under Harbaugh, by the way, and really came in, and we put him on the practice squad. I've evaluated his talent, and I'm just like, this guy is a very, very sharp kid. Now, to be fair about it, he has not come off the practice squad this year in real life, right?
Let's see because Rodriguez went down, right? So I was very curious if they were going to move him. Let's see what happens. What they did was they activated. I thought they might move him up.
Yeah, they
give him a shot.
I thought so too, but they didn't. They moved Edmonds up. Yeah. And I was just like, no, I wouldn't have moved Edmonds up because I don't think there's a lot in Edmonds.
There's not. He's 30-something. He's 32, 31, 32 years old. Yeah. I mean,
the guy to develop on the practice squad is Donovan Edwards.
Yeah.
And he's a volume guy at Michigan. So, like, to me, like, when you're looking at players and what to do, like, I wouldn't activate a 31-year-old player on your practice squad. Like, at this, like, okay, I would do that if we were in a playoff hunt, but we're not. Right. So, like, if I'm looking at activating a running back at this point, it's Donovan Edwards.
Yeah, you're going for the youth. See what you have. Evaluate it.
See what you have. Yeah. Give him reps in actual game time situations against number one defenses.
Yep.
Right? And see what you got in him. And now let's put this into perspective. If he rushes for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns, you win the game, did you win something? Yes. You're like, I found a running back.
You discovered a star.
I discovered a star, right? If you have who's one of our old running backs? McNichols?
McNichols, yeah.
If you have McNichols do that, 150 yards for that, you're just like, I might have still hurt my organization.
Yeah.
Right? Because McNichols is not your long-term solution. Mm-hmm. I do agree with building up Bill. And I do believe in looking at other guys. Like Chris Rodriguez is 25. I don't mind that. But when I'm looking at receivers and I'm looking at a lot of these other positions, I'm looking at defenders and stuff like that, I want to – this is preseason for next year. I'm evaluating talent. I'm trying to decide who I want to keep for next year.
Right.
And if I have question marks by somebody's name, I'm giving them reps to earn their jobs right now. Right? But there's got to be life in their career left. If you're 34 years old, you're done, dude. Like, you're not going to see the field anymore. Not under my watch.
Jack says the top 3 picks that he would make this year coming up in the offseason would be safety, cornerback, and edge. And I think me and Coach both agree that our first one would be edge.
Yeah, I would reverse that order.
Yeah, exactly. Reverse it. Yeah.
But here's the issue about corner.
But we picked the corner, the last 4 years in a row?
Yeah, we have gone, 3 of the years because we got Amos, we got Sinistrell, and we also got Emmanuel Forbes, who we ended up trading away.
Right.
So we've been very, very heavy with first-round draft picks on corner. It's time to work on another position, guys.
Yeah.
Like, this reminds me of the old, here you go. I'm going to give you one that's scar tissue there, Large Sarge. This reminds me of the Lions when they used to do that with wide receivers. They were taking number 1 pick wide receivers for like 5-6 years in a row.
When they needed defense and needed everything else, they were wide receiver. I mean, they finally landed one.
Every year the Lions were picking a wide receiver. And only like one of them ever panned out. 1 or 2 of them ever panned out. Like Megatron panned out. That was about it, right? Like, but they were going through wide receivers like crazy, just burning up first-round draft picks. We don't need to be doing that with corner. We've already used 3 picks on corners. 2 of them have kind of stuck. 1 we've already gotten rid of, and he went off to go perform pretty well somewhere else.
We do need safety.
We do need a safety only because we were stupid enough to let freaking Jeremy
Chin
Chin
go.
walk out the door.
Yeah.
We wouldn't need a safety if we had Jeremy Chin.
Richard says he'd play every rookie the second and third year player possible. That's what he'd do. That's exactly what we're talking about, Richard.
That's exactly what we're talking about. And if you win, then you actually felt like you won something.
Yeah.
Because you play to win, like Paulus Point.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But you coach to win and you play to win. But you're not doing it with your starters and people who, if you win, it doesn't matter. It's only building their stats.
Exactly. And you do play the game to win. It's about the integrity of the game, but it's how you win. And what does a win mean? And I think that's probably the theme of what I'm trying to get across to everybody. And I think everybody's getting it is like a win has to mean something at this point, because a win can also damage your football program at this point. When you talk about draft capital, to me, as a guy who likes to think about building teams, draft capital is, and I know I use the word capital, right? Like most people don't use that. They usually just say, hey, draft picks. We need more draft picks, right? I always call it draft capital as my little coin phrase because I look at it as a currency, right? Draft picks to me is a currency, right? So like when you say my pick went from a top 3 down to a top 9, for the average fan, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But when you actually are a student of the game and you actually understand what that means, that is like huge. Yeah. Like to me, so much so that I actually think we lost the game against the New York Giants.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think they're the real winners of this game. And now you might call me like I'm saying some kind of football
at the franchise level. At the franchise level, right?
Yeah, at the franchise level, this was a loss for us. This was a win for the New York Giants.
Yep.
Because the New York Giants, look at what they've done the past couple of years. They went out and they were able to get their wide receiver from LSU. Yeah, Neighbors.
Jackson
and they were able to get their
Scattaboo.
Yeah, they had so many top-rated, talented players, and guess what? Now you give them another top 5 pick, top 3 right now, and if they lose from here on out, it could be the number 1 overall pick.
That's scary. Paula, thanks for the comment. She jumped in and said, "Yeah, I think she's agreeing with you, Coach. She's saying play your second and third string, and also get people up from the practice squad and evaluate."
Yeah, I would agree with 100% with that, Paul. And I think that is what I'm saying. So here's the other thing: like we saw the Heisman Trophy presentation that happened yesterday. Mendoza won the Heisman Trophy, and Mendoza most likely, according to a lot of the pundits that are out there and the mock drafts that are way too early right now, but are already emerging. To me, I don't put much stock into a mock draft until after the combine. But the early mock drafts have him going as a number 1 overall pick. He might have solidified the spot. Think of this for a moment. Do you want Mendoza as a number 1 overall pick going to New York Giants, throwing to Malik Neighbors?
Well, they've already got it. They're not going to get a QB. They've already got Dart, so they're not worried about that.
Really? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, 100%.
No, I'm not, because you know what? I think like a general manager. If I can have the number 1 overall pick, and I am convinced, because you gotta understand, you are only as good as you think you are, right? And that your record says that you are. They right now are a 3-win team, and that's what Dart is at the helm, right? So if you are a general manager and you believe Mendoza is a better quarterback at number 1, and you use your number 1 pick there, guess who becomes the number 1 trade value candidate you have on your football team?
True.
It becomes Dart.
And Dart still has trade value. So, yeah, I know I hear you.
An enormous amount of trade value. You know why? Because he's still on his rookie contract. He's cheap.
Proven. He's proven.
He's proven, and he's cheap.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just kind of do that. Like, I know Mendoza going to the Jets because
I agree. The Jets, maybe Raiders.
Hey, but you know what? When you trade up, that's great. But the person who's at that position's got to be willing to trade back. And so the Jets are going to have to give up some compensation. And we already talked about, like, that number 1 pick is extraordinarily valuable.
Yeah.
To put this in perspective.
Now, Coach, I got a point to make.
Go ahead.
In context that we're talking about just with the Commanders, where we only have 5 draft picks.
We have 6 now. We got a 6th draft pick because we traded B-Rob.
Oh, okay, 6. Sorry. So with 6 draft picks, which is horrifyingly bad, in context of what you're teaching and what you're coaching to everyone out there. I'm on 100% agreement. This might not be applicable if we had 20 picks in the kitty. Might not be applicable, right? It might be less applicable or mootable. But with so few picks that we have, us losing top tier first round draft capital and trade value based on where we're at is, I think, all the more critical and even more supports your point because we have so little, right?
And it's not just the little, it's where they are in the draft. So, like, for instance, we have no number 2 pick and we have no number 4 pick. So we have a first round pick, a third round pick, and then we don't draft again until the 5th round. So in the top 4 rounds, we only have 2 picks.
Yeah, we're non-existent.
So, like, there's a large part of this meaty part of the draft where we are not even able to improve our football.
Where there's a hell of a lot of good talent.
A hell of a lot of good talent that we just are not going to be able to move on the board on. So, like, imagine if you do have the number 1 pick, all right, and we have the number 1 pick. We have our franchise quarterback in Jayden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the New York Jets, to Jack's point. They want to move up to get Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jets, what are you willing to give me to get up to the number 1 pick?
Right.
They're going to give you a buttload of freaking picks to move up to number 1 because they want Mendoza, and they're afraid another team
next year or a third year out. Depends, right?
And, oh, by the way, there's usually other teams that aren't saying that they were willing to move up, but when it comes to that time, next thing you know, they're willing to offer you more. There's always that secret team out there that goes, hey, I want to be in the running for Mendoza.
Yeah, he's our guy. He's our style of guy. That's who we want.
That's who we want. And they'll come out of nowhere and go, I'll give you 2 number 1s. I'll give you a number 3 and a number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, and it beats the Jets offer, right? So, like, that could happen. And then next thing you know, you're in a much healthier place as an organization where you're able to get so much more to rebuild your program.
Yep.
So, anyway, these are all very, very interesting conversations to have. These are doing.
Coach, Jalen Lane, punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was great. And
he showed flash.
Yeah, and you know what? Jalen Lane is the perfect kind of guy to do it. Now, Jalen Lane is another guy that we have to be concerned about contract and stuff, but we re-sign him long term. I don't like to talk about Madden a lot because Madden's not real, but like there's certain things that are like things that I look for, and there's scary how true things are. Like,
yeah, it's weird.
It's just like there's so many parallels that it's like
weird.
Spooky. It's spooky.
It's just weird.
It just really is weird, right?
But like there's things out there in life, and then you have a stereotype, which is like 60 or 70. Like Madden compared to real life, it's better than stereotype numbers. It's like 70%.
Yeah, it's like scary, how really, like you got an algorithm to kind of predict like how somebody really would be, and it's kind of like scary, right? But like, let's be true about it, it's not real, right? So, but I will tell you, when you do see a guy like Jalen Lane, who we've been touting about him on this channel since we picked him up, right? Like there's something special talent about that kid.
Mm-hmm.
And we were stashing him on the practice squad, right? I feel the same way about Donovan Edwards, right? There's some young kids there that you need to get them on the field so they make a splash like a punt return for a touchdown to show you, hey, he really does have it. Yep. And then you're just like, I think I just want something in him. Let's get him signed to a new contract. Let's take care of him. He's going to be part of our future plan. And we don't have to go outside the organization. We actually have one of our 53 slots filled in this guy. So let's lock him up because he's a good kid and he's doing all the right kinds of things.
Yeah. And Ben Sinnott they finally got him the ball, finally gave him a right read, and he actually showed up in the game. I was really impressed. Bill came back in, Krosky Merritt, and got a lot of touches this game. We had over 100 yards. There was a stat that kept pushing in the game, which blew my mind. Because we shouldn't have a record this bad with that kind of stat. We're 4th in the NFL in rushing yards. 4th. How on earth you only win 3 games? Finally, the coaching came together. It's like they actually sat down, had a meeting, and said, how are we going to pick apart the Giants? What do we need to do? Run the ball. And they came out running. And I was like,
I can't cheer about it because you know what? We were talking about that in the preseason.
I know. But last week, the Vikings, you get blown out. You get totally blown out, and your tail tucked between your legs, got kicked out of their stadium. And complete embarrassment. It looks like you didn't coach. You didn't plan. And this week, they came in with a plan, and it worked.
Yeah, but it's $1 late, $1 short. And again, you're not getting out of your own way.
And I didn't see any halftime adjustments, by the way.
No, but see, my frustrating thing with this team is this, right? And I love my Commanders/Redskins. I mean, they can lose every game in the season. I'm still going to follow them, right?
Yeah.
I'm just a lifelong kind of friend. But I've gone through decades of misery with this team, right? So, but I will say this, this particular year is marred by one bad decision after another. It's not one thing. It is like a combination of things.
Oh, yeah.
All the way up to this game and winning it. To me, I think it's a bad decision. Like the way that they approached it. It was a bad win. It was a costly win. Yeah. That actually, I would argue,
I would say it was a costly win. I think that's the right way to couch it, right?
Yeah, it was a costly
win.
Right.
And it didn't help us because we didn't get to evaluate other talent.
Right.
We had our first string in the entire time.
That's the reason why, and I think everybody's chiming in on the comments. They're saying it and things like that. And I think we're all starting to agree to it now is, a win is not a win. A win is only a win when it means something to your organization. A win's necessary if you're going to the playoffs. A win at this point, it has to have value because what do you walk away from it? And it's kind of like getting a trophy, but you don't feel like you actually.
This was valueless,
right? This is like getting a trophy when you don't feel like you really did anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this organizationally, this win did. I mean, okay, we got to put a 1 on our stat sheet. Some people had a good game, and it didn't help. It didn't help the organization towards next year at all. It hurt us, actually. Yeah,
yeah, it actually hurt us, and so. And I know what players do. Players at this particular time, they're going for individual accolades, right? They're trying to make sure that they have a job next year for some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty safe. And you know what? As a player, I think you're standing on a team, right?
You should by now.
Like Terry McLaurin, he knows he's standing on his team. He knows where his contract is. He knows that the team's married to him for the next 2 years.
Yep.
He doesn't need to take another snap. I would have him out there just because he's missed a lot of football, but I'd still treat it like a preseason game. You're going to go in for a series or two, maybe a quarter, and I'm getting you out because I have other players to evaluate. Right? So.
Yep.
So.
All right, boss. Well, I had a million things go wrong on the home front today. I'm still trying to work to fix them. So I gotta.
So you're trying to get off of the show?
I gotta fly, man. I gotta fly.
Well, everybody, this is Football Psych, baby. We're on that note. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the comments, and we will be back next week. And we are out of here. Have a good one.